page, huh? Oh, I guess this is it. Good afternoon, City of Chester Deliberative. Meeting is called to order for Monday, October 21st, 2024. Looking to my left and right, Mayor and Council are all in attendance except for Council Lady West, who does have an excused absence. We'll let the solicitor take over from here.
Thank you, Your Honor, members of council, members of the public. Welcome to the Monday, October 21st, 2024 deliberative meeting for the City of Chester. The following matters are on the agenda for consideration today and at the regular meeting on Wednesday. Final reading of Bill number 10, ordinance number 9, enacting an ordinance for the collection of delinquent taxes, approving collection procedures and adopting penalty, interest, and schedule of attorney's fees to be added to the amount collected as part of delinquent real estate taxes, municipal claims for delinquent accounts. Resolutions for final passage. Resolution 105. Authorize the proper city officials to install a handicap parking zone in the 1100 block of West 10th Street in the City of Chester. Resolution 106. Authorize the denial of the Widener Flats preliminary/final minor subdivision and land development plan application for a 5-story, 35-unit apartment building at 921-933 East 21st Street. That would conclude the list. And my understanding is that there has been a request for an executive session to immediately follow this meeting.
So you're saying on Wednesday, we're going to be out by 11?
What's the over number? Mayor, please, we have a fact.
Yeah.
I have lost so much money to my solicitor. It's monopoly money. Making that bet.
That's a good bet, though.
I heard a little chatter about R106, but can someone explain why we're denying this so we can all be clear?
Okay, so I'm sure that's the question we all have. And in a city that really wants to bring in more people, new apartments, and all that type of stuff, we really need a good answer. So we're all ears.
No, it's a good question. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Essentially, on the August 14th meeting, Planning Commission meeting, there was a review of the plan for the 35-unit apartment building. And what we did was we reviewed the engineer's review, the City Planning Commission's review, and the fire marshal's review. What we expressed to the applicant was there was major deficiencies in the plan, and many of them were related to health and safety. For instance, you could not get a fire truck to turn in and out of their proposed parking lot. After that meeting on August 14th, we got an email from the applicant stating that they didn't understand why they thought we thought their plan was deficient, and they weren't willing to submit more money into the engineer's escrow for adequate review and additional comments. And what they also wanted was an assurance that they would have approval for their plan, which the city would never do that, make an assurance for approval of a plan, especially if it's deficient. Why we're here today is, as you know, by the MPC, there's a 90-day requirement to approve a plan after the first Planning Commission review of a set of drawings. That date, that 90-day limit, comes the day before the next Planning Commission meeting. Having said that, we have not heard back from the client, and we think it's important to deny this application as is now, this major deficient plan, and let them come back if they want to, and pay into the escrow for extension of the review of the plan. But they have some major deficiencies in the plan. We don't want this to be deemed approval if we don't deny it today, or on Wednesday, excuse me.
You said,
I'm sorry. I think that last point you made is probably the most important.
Yeah.
It could be deemed approved, if not squashed now.
Exactly. And that's really why we're here today.
Will be deemed approved, if not denied now.
Yeah, yeah.
you said there are major deficiencies. You said that a number of times.
Yes.
But you only listed one,
Well,
which was the fire. So
It-
is there, and I'm not sure you can disclose them publicly or not.
oh, no, we can.
Okay.
That review letters, that hopefully was part of your packet, basically listed them out. And not all of them are
Oh, okay, I
major
see.
deficiency, but the fire truck one is really, it's an end-all one. If they can't
Right.
turn a fire truck within that parking lot area and be able to back out, it's not, it just can't be approved as is.
We haven't seen many multi-unit apartments being built in recent history. Has this organization built others here in the city?
Not that I'm aware of. The owner's out in Media, PA, and I'm not aware of them having multiple ones. It's actually an okay site, but in our opinion, it's overbuilt. It should be a 20-unit facility to accommodate the built-out.
Their initial submission was a 26 unit, that they presented in 22. They did submit it for 26 unit and changed their mind and wanted to monopolize on making the most for their money, but it doesn't meet the requirements for them to make this bigger. It requires more parking, it requires,
Microphone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I am a little going. I didn't want to speak because I'm trying to get well at the same time
Passionate
on the
about
mic.
this, so go ahead.
But, yeah, so they did submit a 26 unit, 22, and, sorry, 23, the beginning of 23, with Peter. And, they never responded. They were asked to, for several conditions to be, they questioned several conditions and they didn't reply. They came back this year, in the beginning of the year, and they requested to upgrade it from 26 to 35, which totally changes the requirements for parking. They added this 11-foot retaining wall, a lot of things that just go outside of what the requirements are for zoning and for the amount of land that they have. So we just, basically, the Colliers and our department as well, found certain deficiencies, told them what the requirements were, and they literally, they submitted this as a preliminary / final. Normally, it would be a preliminary, and we'd go through, discuss, we discuss. They put this in as final. So if we don't respond and allow the time clock to work with them submitting this as a preliminary and a final, then it can be, the plans that they put in can be deemed to be approved. And we're not contesting that they build an apartment building. It is an area that is, could use a little flourishing. It's not Widener. They're calling it Widener because it's in the Widener area, the Widener University area. But the problem is that the things that they're trying to do not meet zoning standards nor safety standards. So we just ask that we literally just have council deem this not to be approved, and then we can discuss again, go back and forth with them. But if we don't do anything and leave it pending, then time clock will stop.
That was my next question, if this was going to be tax exempt or not, because
No.
it's Widener Flats, then does
not
Widener
Widener
don't
University.
own this?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
It's
This is
just
a-
the name.
Yep, a private
from-
entity using
Okay.
Widener's name to draw Widener students.
Because I know some years ago, there were some issues with Widener owning houses, and they was tax exempt, and we wasn't, so I wasn't sure whatever happened with
Nah,
that.
this is
So
a private
this-
entity.
This is, okay.
Yeah.
And I just want to add that I did, subsequent to their either refusal or inability to comply with all of our requirements and all the legal requirements for this subdivision, I did receive an email from an attorney by the name of Matt Hanna, who said that they would like to sit down. So I do believe that this step is appropriate, so it's not deemed approved, which would be unacceptable the way it was presented. And I think there still is an opportunity to sit down and explain what's required and still have this development go forward properly.
Would they have been deemed approved at the 26 unit level, or you guys didn't review that?
They
Squash that.
withdrew it.
Okay.
Yeah, they withdrew that and submitted a new application. They wanted a 35 unit.
It would have been approved at 35.
It could have been.
Could have been if we didn't do anything.
Well, that's not my point. I'm just, if we would have reviewed it at 26, but you didn't review it, so it's a mute.
Yeah, not officially reviewed. Exactly.
Let's be clear, if they file an application and no action is taken from the city, review or not, after 90 days, it's deemed approved. Okay?
We asked them for escrow like we would anyone else that's doing land development, and they have completely been quiet, trying to time this thing out.
Yeah.
So it's,
So, you said that the fire, was the issue, right? The
Well, more
fire
than
truck.
that, but yeah, that's.
So, well, I'm curious, I still wanna know what are the other issues?
There's a number of them. One of them is actually garbage access to a dumpster, which they had in a parking garage, which was on the first floor, that would be accessed from 21st Street. So it was never clarified how that access to that dumpster would actually work.
They're literally requiring
yeah.
the truck to go forward, garbage, back out to get out.
Is
Into a
this
parking
location
garage.
all the way at the end of
Yes.
21st Street,
Yes.
where it's already an apartment building
On
on
the
the
left side,
left-hand
that is
side?
correct.
So would this be going on the right?
Open land on the right.
Correct.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a terrible, like,
Very sloped.
yeah,
Yeah.
even to get cars, it's a lot.
Yep.
So I can only imagine a fire truck trying to get
Or
down there.
trash
Yeah.
truck?
The elevation of the
trash truck.
land is also,
It's like a
no
slope,
doubt about it.
yeah.
But again, there was been conversation one way,
Mhm.
and it completely stopped once we said that we had concerns, we wanted them to comment back concerning some of the issues that we had, and it has been nothing. So,
And in the end, it mostly was incomplete information that they were giving to us. That to me is a major deficiency if they're not actually doing the things that the SALDO, the subdivision and land development ordinance, tells them to do. If they're not showing it on the plan, then it's a deficiency. So, and that's what some of the stuff is called out in that letter.
Okay,
Um,
well, thank you.
I'm curious, and it has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, but is there money involved here? Are we giving them money back, or if they want to apply again, do they have to put up more money? I mean, how, what?
Yeah, they would, if we deny them today, or on Wednesday, they would basically have to start the whole process over and establish an escrow, do the application fees, things like that.
Is there any money we're holding in escrow
No.
that we have to return back?
they haven't given us escrow.
No.
No, well, they've given us a initial escrow that predated our current structure, but that's already been used up by the engineer, so.
So is it your opinion that this can work, or is it like, this particular project will not work there at all? Or is it just something that needs to be talked out and maybe some downsizing of, like you said, maybe from 35 back to 26, or is it just like, this won't work there?
No, I think there's definitely some possibilities of having it there. I just think a downsizing would be appropriate it's a difficult site, so they'd have to cross their Ts and dot their Is to make it work. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a possibility of it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And that was part of, I think, in our initial discussions, which I was not privy of, but I heard that there was, some confidence in the development, but it needed to be scaled back,
Mm-hmm.
so.
The builder owns the land?
Yes, the applicant was the architect for the owner.
All right. Any other questions on any other items? Pretty short agenda today. Any comments, questions? Anything unrelated to the agenda items? No? Uh-oh, Mr. Troutman? No? Okay, looks like you were chomping at the bit there. Nice shot at this. About to hit the gavel. All right, meeting adjourned. We're going to go into that room. Thank you. Thank you all for attending.